exemptions to claim, and how would it be useful to them? Will it be an advantage? Will it be a disadvantage? Will it mark them down at some point after they get the degree? So we're here to help you out with all these questions that he is himself, who has also claimed a fair of exemption. He has just right. It was written in the guide.
Hi guys, good afternoon. First of all, thanks for coming. I know it's a Wednesday afternoon, but I really appreciate the fact that you guys are coming for the webinar. So yeah, as Purandari mentioned earlier that I have claimed exemptions. I claimed 6 exemptions at that time. But a lot of people ask us this question. A lot of students come and speak to us and ask that, is it correct to take exemptions? Is my certificate going to be exactly the same one? Will I be able to clear the papers eventually? Because if I'm taking exemptions, does that mean that I'm slacking somewhere? So I'm gonna just break it down very slowly for you guys. I'm going to the next slide. Yeah, so this is a big question, right? Should you opt for ACCA exemptions? Correct. A lot of people say that. So let's just break it down. So there are 13 papers, right? If you complete your BCom, you get around 4 exemptions. If you complete your CA Inter like me, you get 6 exemptions. If you have completed CA Inter and given a few CA final papers, you probably might get 7 exemptions, 8 exemptions, so on and so forth. If you've completed your CA totally, you get 9 exemptions. So a lot of people ask us that, is it correct to go down the exemption route, or should I probably, should I start from scratch? Correct. So today we're going to talk about a couple of things. So the biggest question is, if you have completed your BCom, why are they giving you 4 exemptions? Correct. So they're giving you 4 exemptions because you have already done the basics of financial accounting, you have done the basics of costing and the basics of law. Correct. So hence they're like, okay, so if X is studying ACCA and we completed his BCom, he shouldn't be studying the same subjects again. That is the whole purpose of getting exemptions. Similarly, for chartered accountants, they make sure that they get 9 exemptions because they've completed the portion for 9 subjects. Correct? That's the reason why they get the 9 exemptions. Otherwise, there's no other reason why they will get exemptions. Now, there are a lot of integrated courses, correct, which I want to talk to you about. There is BBA ACCA, which is given by us, MCOM ACCA given by us, and we also have MBA ACCA, correct? So these are the 3 courses which we run at Zell Education, and we get the students 9 exemptions for all the courses, correct? Now, a lot of students come again and ask us that, oh, but if I'm doing a BBA ACCA, or if I'm doing an MCOM ACCA, how do I deserve these 9 exemptions, correct? And how does the ACCA body give me the exemptions? First things first, even if you're getting these 9 exemptions, you will get the exact same certificate if you had gone through the normal route. So understand that first. Okay, you will definitely get the exact same certificate after completing your ACCA course. Now, what happens is, suppose there's X university, right? And they have a collaboration with ACCA body, okay, stating that whatever is covered up in the 9 papers, correct, whatever topics are covered, we will make sure that that's embedded into my system. Okay, so a lot of people who have completed BCom will understand that a few chapters, a few subjects are completely repetitive, whether it's ACCA course, CA course, or your BCom course. For example, financial management, we all study capital budgeting, right? In accounting, we all study non-profit organization, we study final accounts, we study trial balance, etc. So the question is that, what do we do? Yeah. So the question is that, why do you want to study the exact same thing twice, right? If I'm studying capital budgeting in BCom, I shouldn't be studying capital budgeting in ACCA again. It doesn't make sense at all to me, correct? So what we have done is the university gets in touch with the ACCA body. They make sure that those 9 subjects and each and every topic in that subject is integrated in the BBA or the MCOM syllabus. So once it's integrated into a syllabus, you're studying the 9 papers with the university and you're giving the university exams. Now, Does the university set those exams? No. The ACCA body sets those exams and gives it to the university. So if you're thinking that the university might just pass you like that, no. They will make sure that the exams are set by the ACCA body. The level of exams are also exactly the same. So if you're clearing those papers, it's like clearing the papers with the ACCA body. Two things you save out here. Number one is your time, correct? Because generally you would have spent more time studying ACCA and BBA or ACCA and MCOM separately, but now you're studying it at the same time. Secondly, in terms of time, I know that you guys have a lot of, you guys have a lot of fests in colleges. Some of you are doing MCOM, are probably working as well. So it becomes very difficult for you guys to manage both, correct? If you guys are managing both, it becomes hectic because you might just keep delaying your ACCA attempts. So this is one route where you can enjoy your fest, you can join your university. If you want to work, it's fine because you're not studying the same thing twice. It doesn't make sense to study the same thing twice. So that is exactly what an ACCA integrated course looks like. Okay. We're just going to talk a little bit more about the other courses, what exactly is covered up in the ACCA syllabus, all the papers, so on and so forth. We'll talk a little bit about the placements as well. And after completing that, we can probably open the room for questions. Okay, so a lot of people ask that what's the difference between Chartered Accountancy course, ACCA course, and the ACCA Accelerated program. So let's start with CA. CA is the Indian Chartered Accountancy course I'm talking about. I'm sure all of you guys must have heard of the Indian Chartered Accountancy course, right? It is predominantly the most looked forward course in India initially. This is back probably in 2010-ish. Eventually, what happened is that a lot of other courses came up, and it's not only ACCA, we have CFA, CMA. A lot of jobs started being outsourced from America, from Europe to India, correct? And that's the reason why the demand for a course like ACCA came up. Initially, there was a demand only for the CA course, but right now the demand for ACCA, CFAs are growing a lot because a lot of work, whether it's from America or from Europe or from Dubai, is being outsourced to India. So a lot of, if you look at the big four, right? If you look at EY or KPMG, they have something called EY India and EY Global Delivery Services. So in EY GDS, there are a lot of scope for ACCAs, and that's the reason why ACCAs came up. But let's talk a little bit more about the Chartered Accountancy course. You have three levels. You have your CPT, you have Inter, and you have CA Final. Yes, it's looked up a lot if you complete your Chartered Accountancy course. Can you do CA and ACCA together? Definitely you can. The only issue in giving your Chartered Accountancy is that the time factor, right? Because you start by giving your first foundation paper, correct? After completing that, you have to give IPCC 9 months later. Then you have to work for the next 3 years as articleship, correct? You have to complete your articleship, and only then you're eligible for CA Final. Now, by the time you complete your articleship, probably you already spent 4 to 5 years, correct? That's why you give your CA final, which is known as one of the toughest papers in India, correct? And at that time, you're under immense pressure to complete the course. But at the same time, you're sitting in a room full of people who have completed Inter and they have the same job profile like you guys. So it gets a bit difficult. Is the CA paper difficult to give? Now, if I break that down, it's not actually that difficult to give, but it's the way it's structured which makes it difficult, right? So they have a group system, like group one and group two. In group one, there'll be 4 papers. So if you guys, let's say it's accounting, FM, costing, and taxation. If you fail only in costing, you will have to give the entire group again, even though you have passed the other 3. So that is one factor which is there in the CA course, that people are it's very difficult for them to prepare, because they have to prepare not for one paper, for 4 papers together. But in the ACCA course, it's very different. The level of toughness of the paper is more or less the same. But the advantage you have in the ACCA paper is every paper is separate. So if I'm going for a financial management paper, I have to just go there, clear that paper, and finish it off. Then next quarter, I can probably go and give costing or financial accounting, etc. Another advantage in the ACCA course compared to your CA course is the fact that you can give the attempt every quarter. But in the CA course, you have to give it every 6 months. So that's another disadvantage for the CA course. Talking about the third program, which I've mentioned over here, which is your ACCA Accelerated Program. Okay, so what exactly is the Accelerated Program? As I mentioned earlier, an Accelerated Program is one which can be given simultaneously with your university. It's an integrated program, right? Like for an ACCA BBA, ACCA MCOM, ACCA MBA. So what does your scope look like over there? Number one, if I'm doing ACCA BBA, correct? If I've completed my 12th standard, if I want to do ACCA BBA, you can go ahead and do that. So you will have to give your BBA exam online, and you will have to probably, and at the same time, when you're studying BBA, in that syllabus itself, you'll be studying the ACCA papers, the 9 papers, and then you can straight away start giving the remaining 4 professional level papers. If you're doing BBA, people ask when is the correct time to start attempting the 4 papers. Not in the first year. You can give it in the first year, but I would advise you to give it probably in the second year. If you guys are doing MCOM or if you're doing MBA ACCA integrated program, then definitely you can start giving the 4 papers in the first semester itself. Yeah, I just explained the entire chartered accountancy course. Yeah, and one point which I forgot to mention is that what does the chartered accountancy course teach? So they teach you Ind AS mainly, Indian accounting standards, while an ACCA course will teach you international financial reporting standards. And then the clear points which I mentioned, that ACCA can be completed much faster. Another advantage in ACCA is that, do you need work experience in ACCA 3 years like ACCA? Yes, you do. You do need those 3 years of experience. But the thing is that you can get that experience prior giving the papers, during giving the papers, or after. So you're not obligated to, like, they don't stop you from giving a professional level exams if you have not completed your work experience. If you want to complete all the papers first, a lot of students that do that, they complete all the 13 papers first, and then they start working. Some students try to work before, then they start giving the papers, and there are some students who do it simultaneously. They're all computer-based exams, guys. Regarding that point, computer-based exams, some students find it difficult initially. They're like, why do we have to give it on the computer where we're used to handwritten exams? Initially, you might find it difficult, but think about it. I'm sure a lot of you are from commerce background. When I was giving my 12th standard exam, I remember preparing a balance sheet. And in the balance sheet, guys, if you make any mistake in the trading account and you find out that later on after completing sum, you're like, oh my God, my sum is not tallying. I made a mistake in the trading account. You'll have to literally cancel the gross profit, then cancel the net profit, then probably tally your figure. But when you're using a computer, correct, you're solving the sum on Excel. So the moment you make one change in the trading account, your entire structure changes. Correct. So those are advantages. The calculator is much more smooth in Excel, and it's just much more convenient. And secondly, when you guys are going for a corporate job nowadays, guys, Excel has become a must, right? So it's a good experience you already have that you're learning Excel at the same time. Okay, when I talk about course eligibility, there's one thing which a lot of people don't know is that you're eligible for ACCA after completing your 10th standard itself. You do not have to wait for your completing your HSC or your 12th paper. But they want to make sure that when you give your 12th paper, you have to get a 65% plus in accountancy and English, which majority of the people do get. If you're a non-commerce student, suppose you're doing law, suppose you're doing engineering, or you're doing arts, are you eligible for ACCA? Yes, you are. So there's a FIA route for that. In case you guys want to know more, you can get in touch with us and we'll explain the FIA route to you. Okay, I'm just going to talk a little bit more about the ACCA exams, the subject which I want to be taught, etc. So generally, it's divided, as I mentioned, it was 13 papers, right? So it's knowledge level, skill level, and professional level. So if you guys see out here, it's 15 papers. But in professional level, your last 4 papers, you have to give only 2. Correct? You can see the optional papers. So you have to give only 2. So that's where you get the advantage where you can complete. You can give only, you have to give only 13 papers. Okay, so let's start one by one. There's a lot of connection between the papers. For example, the first paper is called Business and Technology, which is a knowledge level paper. This paper is linked with SBL, which is Strategic Business Lead, which comes in your professional level. So a lot of topics have been overlapped over here. Now, if I look at the second one, which is F2, it's called Management Accounting. Management Accounting is basically your costing, marginal costing, budgeting, standard costing, process costing, etc. So you have F2, which is Management Accounting. Then you have Performance Management, which is F5. And then there's an optional paper called APM, Advanced Performance Management. Correct? They're all very similar. It's just that the level of the paper gets much more tougher. Now, if I look at F3, that's financial accounting. So F3, financial accounting, F7, financial reporting, and compulsory paper, strategic business reporting, they all 3 work in sync. These are the papers where they teach you international financial reporting standards. These are the papers where they teach you consolidation. So, for example, consolidation, a sum of 15 marks comes in F3. The same consolidation gets tougher and comes in F7 for around 20-25 marks. and then the same sum comes for 35 marks in the SBR paper. So that's how it goes. It goes from one level to the other level to the third level. So guys, when we have an integrated course, you do not have to give F3 and F7. You have to give SBR straight away. But am I prepared to give SBR if I'm not completed F3 and F7? We will make sure we teach you F3, then we teach you F7, and then you're ready for SBR. So in a 6 months period, we teach you F3, F7, and SBR together. So you're good. So you're good to go for the paper. F4 is corporate and business law. So this is one paper which doesn't have any link with any other paper. It is your basic law. A lot of people think that I don't study law, but it's just your corporate law and contract act and your gratuity and your bonus act. Moving on to F6, that's taxation. So guys, taxation is, yes, it's UK taxation and international taxation. When I say international taxation, there's a lot of indirect tax, right? Such as transfer pricing. If I'm transferring goods from one country to the other, what are the export duties and import duties which I have to pay? So that helps you a lot, and a lot of jobs available in transfer pricing in the Big Four as well nowadays. Yeah, so taxation is related to advanced taxation in your professional level papers. You guys have audit and assurance, F8, which gets converted to advanced audit assurance, and financial management, which gets converted to advanced financial management. Audit, they teach you the basics of stat audit, internal audit, forensic audit, and tax audit. Financial management is someone who's probably more inclined towards finance, towards corporate finance. They teach you subjects like capital budgeting, cost of capital, capital structure, and working capital. And in advanced financial management, they do introduce forex, your futures, your interest rate swaps, etc. So that's a little bit about the course structure. Again, I'll repeat: if you guys go for the accelerated program, you will get all these papers exempted. Your knowledge and skill level, you have to go to your professional level. Will these papers be taught to you the knowledge and skill level? Yes, but you do not have to give the paper to the ACCA body. Since you're not giving the paper to the ACCA body, you save a lot of money as well, because generally when you go to give a paper, it's around £100. If you're not registered, we can get you that at a much lower fee. Yeah, so this is exactly what the ACCA program is, accelerated program is. Just one last benefit, you can get a dual degree as well. What is a dual degree? For example, I'm already studying BCom from HR College in Mumbai, correct? Can I do a BBA simultaneously with it? Yes, you can. Because in the BBA, all your papers are online, your exams will not clash, correct? And most of your lectures for ACCA are on the weekend. So you can get both the degrees, you can get your BCom as well as your BBA at the same time. As I mentioned, you will save exam fees, exemption fees, subscription fees. In your first year, your subscription fees has been waived off. Exemption fees is what you have to pay a very minimum amount if you are not registered for the program. And obviously exam fees. So when I say you save exam fees of £100 on an average per paper, and if I calculate that as £900, that's not totally accurate, because there's the times where probably we fail one or two papers, right? So we cannot count that as 900. We'll probably count as 1100 or probably more. Okay, so let's talk about the main topic, which is that after completing ACCA, do I have scope in India? Do I have scope in probably UAE? Do I have scope in UK or US, etc.? So let's start off with how do you build your career, correct? If my ultimate objective is that a lot of students come and tell me that, so I want to get into KPMG, right? My ultimate objective is to get a job in KPMG. What you guys need to understand is that KPMG itself has around 20 departments, right? There's accounts advisory, there's auditing, there's risk advisory, there's mergers and acquisition, there is taxation, direct taxation, indirect taxation, financial reporting. So never keep your goal as I want to get into a big four. Always keep your goal as I want to get into this particular department. And then when I get in a big four or a medium-sized company, it's fine. Let's say, because the last thing you want to know is that you get a job in KPMG, for example, in financial reporting, but 6 months down the line, you understand that this is not what I want to do in my life. Just remember one thing, guys, you'll be studying for the next 2 to 3 years, but you'll be working for the next 20 years. So make sure that you get your decision right when it comes to taking a decision regarding. Yeah. So another thing. Yeah. So make sure that you get your decision right regarding this entire concept. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so yeah, make sure when you're making a decision about your career, just make sure that you decide that which department you want to work in, and that you probably understand that, okay, if I want to get into risk advisory, I'll probably start slowly, and then I can probably get into a big four eventually. So yeah, moving forward, guys. Okay, so how does Zell help you get a placement as well? So we have a link, we have a tie-up with a lot of corporates already. In case there's something coming up from Motilal Oswal in, say, financial services or corporate finance, and if I want to get into that, if there's an opening, we run it past every student on their groups, depending on their availability also. So some of the companies come and say that I want probably someone who's studying ACCA. Some of them say that I want someone who's completed ACCA. So it depends on that. Based on that, we help you prepare your CVs, and then we can probably start placing you in the respective companies. So we have a lot of tie-ups in Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore. We're trying to work on the other cities as well, trying to make sure that we can provide placements to other cities as well. A lot of students come from Nagpur, Indore, so we're trying to work something out for them as well. So yeah, guys, that was about it. We also provide a lot of other courses such as CFA, CMA, and your CPA. So, if you guys have any doubts regarding the same, you can feel free to reach out to us. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can probably raise your hand, and I think a few questions in the chat box as well. Okay. Someone's asking, can we do ACCA preparation from Inter 2 year along with CA? Yes, definitely. You will get exemption also if you've completed Inter. Are there any exemptions for Delhi University students pursuing BCom honors and in their first year? So in the first year, you won't get Sanjana. If you're completing your BCom, you will be getting exemptions. Okay, can you tell me about ACCA and CPA, Canada, MRA? So yeah, if you complete your ACCA till last year, I'm not sure about 23, I'll have to take an update, but till I think 22, ACCA had a tie-up with Canadian CPA. So will you be exempted from all Canadian CPA exams? No, you'll have to give one module, obviously, but it gives you an advantage over there. Can you send full details? Praveen, yeah, definitely will send you the full details. I'm at the end of 12th grade, so I just wanted to know which institutions provide bachelors along with ACCA, like in Bangalore. We don't have anything in Bangalore right now. What is the expected amount to be invested in course of INR? Dhruv, that depends on which level you are. What exactly, if you're a BCom grad, you're 12th grad, depends on a lot of stuff. How many exemptions can you claim? Whether you're looking for pro, premium, light, etc. So Dhruv, don't worry, I'll make sure a consultant calls you and understands your background much better. 4-paper exempted value for me and ECC. Okay. I've completed BCom and MBA. How many subjects can I get exemptions in? Subramaniam, it depends on which university you passed out from. A consultant will get in touch with you and understand. So we have an ACCA exemption calculator. That'll give you a much better idea of how many exemptions you're eligible for. Zell India told me that there are 4 papers exemption for Delhi University if I complete first year BCom on. Oh, you're doing BCom honors. Sanjan, don't worry. I will ask one of the consultants to get in touch with you. I'm not sure about Delhi University. I just thought that I was well versed in Mumbai University. It might have been the same. But yeah, we can probably get on a much better call, Sanjana, and understand that. Okay, so I got a few people raising their hands. Subramaniam. Hi, Subramaniam.
Yeah, hi. This is Subramaniam. So
Yeah,
I have
Subramaniam,
completed my BCom and MBA finance, which is from Nagarjuna University. Okay. So BCom it is a regular actually, and MBA it is from corresponding. So right now I'm a working professional with a multinational company. So
Can you speak a little louder, Subramaniam? A little louder. I can't hear.
Yeah, I'm a BCom graduate.
Yeah, I got that. You're a BCom grad and MBA finance, right?
MBA finance, and which is from Nagarjuna University. BCom it is on regular mode, and MBA it is from corresponding. And I have a working professional right now. I'm a SAP ERP consultant. So I am a certified consultant.
Software implementation for SAP FI?
Yeah, I'm a CO.
You're not doing FI, you're doing something else?
Yeah, FI and controlling both are certified.
Okay. And which company are you working for currently?
So I want to complete this ACCA. So how many subjects are getting exemption, and what is the fee structure? And
I didn't get your MBA. So what happens is, Subramaniam, we have an ACCA exemption calculator, right? It depends
Okay.
on which university you passed your MBA finance from. So for BCom, you would get 4 exemptions. But I'm thinking since you've completed MBA finance, you might be
Yeah.
eligible for 6 exemptions or 7 exemptions. Correct.
Okay.
So my
Yeah.
team will call you. They'll ask you for your certificates. Okay. And we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
probably
sure.
upload that and understand that how many exemptions are you eligible for. Once I get that, I can get much better clarity as to whether you're eligible for 5, 6, whatever exemptions. And then the consultant will get in touch with you for the course fees also, that the remaining papers, they'll make a plan for you, right? Since you're working, we want to make sure that it's not very hectic for you. And you mentioned you're working in ERP, so it might get hectic, you might have international plans as well. So they'll get in touch with you, they'll show you a proper structure, your pathway, that when can you complete which paper and how you can take it forward.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you. Okay, someone's asking, can I get an exposure to IP if I take AFM or AAA, or if there's anything else you can make much more attractive? So the thing about IB is that first of all, IB sounds pretty fancy, and a lot of people want to get into investment banking. But just a heads up, guys, it's not as cool as it sounds.
Change over time as well. Completing annual security awareness training reminds people.
Yeah, so it might get difficult to get into investment banking. The best way to get into investment banking is to get a certificate. Probably, oh yeah, you can go through MBA colleges as well, like an IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Bangalore. But if you're looking for certificate courses, you can do a CFA or an ACCA and start working in a boutique investment banking company, right? Yes, will AFM help you? AFM will help you understand concepts. But in reality, it's a bit different to implement those concepts. You have to probably start working in a boutique company. Once you have a little bit of experience in a boutique company, that's when you can probably start applying for your JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley eventually. For now, so you have to start from a boutique company, but you need a certificate course besides your BCom or your graduation course. How should I proceed after completing 12th? Eman, someone will get in touch with you and understand when exactly is your 12th paper, and then they can take it forward from there. On an average, how much will it cost after 4 exemptions? So after 4 exemptions, don't worry, Ali. First of all, we need to see if you have those 4 exemptions, and then we'll take it forward. Chirag's asking a very good question. Does ACCA help for startups? Okay, so the thing about ACCA is that, okay, let me talk about one paper. Okay, only one paper, which I teach as well. It's called Strategic Business Leader. Strategic Business Leader is your professional level paper, okay, and it's a booklet which they give you. So it's a 15-page booklet they'll give you, and you have 4 hours to solve that paper. Everyone who's writing that paper can have a different answer. Like if I'm writing something and if Chirag is writing something else, it's fine. But you have to validate it. What they do is they give you a huge case study. So I remember one of my papers, it was a civil engineering company who is based out of X country, but they want to go to Y country because they've got a project, but the political situation might not be good. They have to look at capital budgeting as to how much will the labor cost over there, what will the advertising cost be, etc., etc. It was a huge case study, correct? And I had to prepare a report and send it to probably someone else, to my reporting manager. So what ACCA does is it gives you the business vibe, correct? As if you're running the business yourself. And between the paper, they give me 2 resumes. You have to hire an executive for yourself. Please choose which one and tell me the reasons why you're choosing X or Y. So it gives you a lot of entrepreneurship spirit where you're actually feeling like you're running a business itself. So yes, Chirag, it definitely helps running any sort of startup. If you look at AFM, obviously they look at merger and acquisition. They also show you that if you have to create a financial model tomorrow, correct? If you want to look at investors coming in, so how do you prepare that financial model? On what basis do you prepare? What is DCF, etc.? That helps you in AFM. If you look at APM, that's where they teach you your KPIs and your CSFs, right? What are your key performance indicators? How do I know that if I have to judge my business, is it the revenue which I have to look, or the number of customers which I have to look, or is it my seasonal business? What exactly is my gross profit? In FR, you look at ratios, correct? You can do a full ratio analysis. So definitely it does help you eventually in a startup, right? So definitely, if you're looking for a startup, ACCA is definitely the right course. Yeah, Chirag. Chirag, you raised your hand.
हाँ सर मेरा ये क्वेरी थी कि स्टार्टअप के लिए हेल्प करता है कि
Correct. So it's great. I mean, Chirag, that's the thing, right? Even if I look at a tech startup, correct? You might say that how does ACCA connect with tech startup? So if it's tech, non-tech, if it's a manufacturing company, there are a lot of other things to look at. For example, in tech startup, obviously you need a CTO, correct? That is a must. But how to run operations, how to make sure that how will I get my first sale? How do I make sure that I'm doing capital budgeting? For example, if it's a tech startup, I need to hire a coder, right? But I need to look at various things. Will I get a coder at a reasonable rate in another country where I can pay him in that currency? Correct. Those are the sort of case studies you'll be looking at when you're doing ACCA. Correct. So you can do it both simultaneously. Eventually, you'll have to prepare your own financial reporting. Right. So the more independent you are in your startup, if you have 3-4 roles, if you look at financial reporting itself, if you look at strategy itself. In strategy, there's something in SBL itself that teach you Porter's 5% model, pestle analysis, SWOT analysis. All these things are something which a lot of normal Indian businessmen don't take up. So when you look at a startup, Chirag, there are two things. A lot of people say that no, experience is everything, and some people say no, I should read books and I can understand that much better. I feel the balance of both is needed. So if you look at a general person who's doing business in India, that's a lot of people doing business in textiles. They don't read a lot of books, right? So they do not read a book written by Elon Musk, for example. They say that no, you have to be street smart for all these things. But a balance is needed, correct? Because if you're reading a book written by Peter Thiel, like 0 to 1, correct? Or if you're reading ACCA's SBL, they're teaching you strategies which might be implicated to your business. And then you can make much better decisions than just going raw. So yeah, Chirag, all the best. I'm sure that you have a startup idea in mind. But all the best.
Sir, my last question is, sir, based on 1 to 30 papers, so they help us startup? Knowledge level,
so that's
knowledge level, skill level, professional level.
So for example, let's take law, right? Corporate law is one subject, correct? Now, eventually, if you want to start a private limited company, you need to register your company, right? But you need to know what is authorized capital. You need to know the procedure, all these things. So every subject will teach you a little bit. Correct. Tomorrow, if you're looking at taxation, also you won't file your own returns. So you have the basic knowledge. So even if you're going to your CA tomorrow, correct, he cannot fool you because you have studied taxation. That's one thing. So you can also tell him that, you know what, why are you doing it like this? Don't you think we should do it like that? And the thing about ACCA is when they question you on the papers, they're going to question you in case studies itself. They'll give you long case studies and you have to solve that. Then you look at audit. You can look at risk advisory, which a lot of people don't do in their business, right? So risk advisory, Chirag, is a part of audit. It's called internal audit, where they teach you two things: how do you increase your sales or reduce your cost in any business? Correct. So when I used to work in risk advisory for Jet Airways, at that time my ultimate objective was how do I reduce the cost. So at that time, I remember in engineering department they were over purchasing stuff, correct, which are not needed. And when I asked them, they didn't have any reply. Correct. So they have something called a minimum order level. Once it reaches that level, only then they have to raise a purchase order. At the same time, I have to make sure that who are they purchasing it from? Correct. Are they going to X vendor or are they checking from X, Y, Z vendor and getting the best vendor? Because there's a lot of corruption at the corporate level as well. So yeah, every subject will teach you something related to how you can run your business. Not only a startup, but how to run a business, whether it's existing or whether you need to start something. And I clearly raised the funding point as well, right? If you look at FM and AFM, they give you a basic how to prepare a financial model, how do you calculate DCF, etc., which will help you pitch tomorrow to any investor. If you're going to a VC, you need to make sure your deck is spot on, right? So that's another thing which will teach you.
So sir, balance time is ACCA study, sir. Startup पे भी काम करना तो balancing time पे necessary मतलब.
Chirag, can you speak a little louder? I can't hear you.
Sir, my last question is, sir, balancing time for ACCA study. Sir, suppose a startup timing, इतना time, so ACCA timings 4 hours study per day या 20 hours study per day.
So are you saying that how you balance your studying and the startup?
Yes, sir.
Correct. So that's not a worry for you right now, because even if you're running, so in ACCA you will have to probably study on the weekends and probably 45 minutes to 1 hour on the weekdays. Correct? Baki ka time you
Yes,
can
sir.
spend 8 to 9 hours on your startup as well. And what the way I look at it is, let's say, God forbid your startup doesn't work. Just God forbid. You at least have a certificate, right? So you have done both simultaneously. Obviously, in case it doesn't work out 2-3 years later, see, any business takes 2 years to grow, right? To reach the growth stage. In the startup stage, there's a lot of losses also in the start. So you want to always keep a backup as well. Now, if you go to do an MBA, that's a full-time course, right? You'll have to go to college, you'll have to sit for 8 to 9 hours. This is something which you can do simultaneously with your startup. And in case, God forbid, doesn't work, you always have a backup ready.
Yes, sir. So my backup study is continuous BCom चल रही.
Chirag, I can't hear you. Can you please speak a bit louder?
नहीं सर, मैं BCom चल रही है सर. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Chirag, can you just text if you want? Then I can probably read it.
Sir, no, sir. All question is done. Thank you, sir.
Should I just text it? Now I can get it much better. Okay. In the meantime, I have unmuted Sumka as well. Sumka, do you have any questions?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
please go ahead.
I'm currently pursuing MBA plus ACCA.
Okay.
Now the first sem is going on, but when we have to claim the exemptions, like 9
So
exemptions.
once you started your ACCA MBA, you can claim your exemptions at that time itself.
Okay, but we have to register and then we have to claim.
Yeah, you have to register. The moment you're registered in the course, you can go to the ACCA body and you can register for your ACCA as well. And you can start giving the attempts in the first semester itself. It's up to you. It's once you've done an ACCA MBA integrated course, in the first semester itself, you can start registering yourself and then you can take it forward from there.
Okay.
So if you are doing an MBA ACCA, what you should ideally do is you have to give 4 papers, right? So you should give
Yes.
1 paper per semester every 6 months. So that makes it much
Okay.
more easier for you to complete the papers on time.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot for attending the webinar. If you guys have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us. You can contact us. Our contact numbers are there on the website. And if anyone has any doubts regarding registration, regarding how many exemptions will I get, don't worry. You will get a call either today or tomorrow, and we'll reach out to you and understand how many exemptions are you actually eligible for. So thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for coming to the webinar. Bye-bye.